What's going on, guys? We go back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very, very well. We're going to talk about Resto Druid moving into Season 3 and whether or not you might want to pick it up as a main healer. There's a lot of really cool things going on with Resto Druid, so let's just dive right into it. I'm going to talk about any talent changes that are happening. I'm going to talk about the change from Season 2 to Season 3 in terms of the tier sets and how it's going to potentially change your talents. I will show you my build that I'm working with as well, and I'll show you some footage from Season 3 on the PTR. I can't get on the PTR right now because the servers are still down. I've been waiting for Blizzard to put them up, but that's just how it goes. So let's just dive into the changes that are happening first. Yo, guys, the gnome would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. All right, thanks, bye. In between Season 2 and Season 3, there have been a couple different patch notes, but right now I'm waiting for the next set of patch notes to come down today. I haven't seen them yet, so we'll see what happens. But let's look at the first set. There's been 2 sets of patch notes so far on the PTR. This second set of patch notes has nothing for Druid, so we're only working off of the first set. But here's what's happening. Lycara's Meditation is being replaced with Lycara's Inspiration. So this now gives you basically a defensive stat of some kind, except if you're in no form, you get magic damage, which is kind of cool. Cat form gets stamina, bear gets movement speed, which is really good. And then Moonkin gets avoidance. So some more defense for Moonkin, which is kind of cool. It also means if you're playing Resto Druid, if you swap into Moonkin form, you'll get avoidance while you're in Moonkin form, which is kind of cool, right? Depending on what you want to do. You can swap into cat form to get more stamina. Right now, Lycara's Meditation is right here. So this is not Lycara's Teachings. This isn't changing. You're still going to get your stats. This node down here used to be like whenever you switch forms, you retain your stats. That's going away. It's now being replaced with this kind of more defensive layer, which might make it a talent that you want. You don't have to take it still. You could just not take the talent, but it is something that you might want to take now. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's keep going. The Wildstalker talents are getting massively buffed. This is for Resto Druid as well. Symbiotic Blooms and Bursting Growth are both going up by 50%. And if you watched my tier set video, my tier list video talking about Resto Druid, I'll talk about it in a second, but the Wildstalker Resto Druid tier sets are it's insane. It just has a growth that grows and then the growths explode all on their own. You don't have to trigger them anymore. So you're going to get tons of blooms blooming and exploding and doing AoE healing everywhere. And now both of those things are going to be 50% stronger. Both the initial growth and the bloom, which is awesome. Thriving Growth's base chance for symbiotic blooms to grow is increased by 30%. Rate at which this increases with larger target counts slightly reduced. So Thriving Growth, I'm going to switch over here. I believe that's over here. Am I crazy here? I thought it was over here. Oh, it's just at the beginning. Sorry. Thriving Growth's base chance for symbiotic blooms to grow is increased by 30%. So this is good. So this is going to combo with the new tier set bonus, which further buffs the chance for symbiotic blooms to grow. It further enhances the Thriving Growth talent. So you're just going to be proccing them literally all the time. It's going to be insane. Twin Sprouts chance to generate an additional bloom increased to 30% was 20. Very nice. That's when a bloom grows, it has a 30% chance now to grow a second bloom right away. And then Implant triggers off of Wild Growth, which is down here. That's this talent. It used to, right now it only triggers off Swiftmend. So if you Swiftmend somebody, you're guaranteed to get a bloom. Now if you Swiftmend or Regrowth, you're guaranteed to get a bloom. This could be really crazy when you combo it with Tranquility, and I'm going to talk about this talent a lot, but Dream State, I did not understand how powerful this was. This is the most disgusting talent I think I've ever seen for healers in the game, period, okay? This cools down everything. It cools down Nature's Swiftness. It cools down Regrowth, or sorry, Swiftman. I'm losing my mind. It cools down your Grove Guardians. It cools down Ironbark. It cools down Convoke or Tree of Life. It's insane. This thing is absolutely insane. And it's going to allow you to do some really crazy combos, right? Like if you, this new Implant talent, let's say, you go Swiftmend, Wild Growth, Trank, Swiftmend, Wild Growth. You can just do it again, and you can have 4 blooms out very, very quick. 4 guaranteed blooms out very, very quickly. So I don't know if that's ever going to be worth it. I'm just saying there are options now because of how amazing that talent is. So Wildstalker getting a ton of love, and the new tier set bonus for Wildstalker for Resto Druid is one of the strongest in the entire game, in my opinion. So I think Wildstalker Resto Druid is looking really, really, really good. Okay. Let's get down to Resto here. Making some adjustments to the healing cooldown. So Blizzard took a pass on every major healing cooldown in the game, like Hymn and Revival and Healing Tide Totem and Tranquility. And Tranquility has been kind of in the dumpster for a long time, but now its initial healing is buffed by 100%, so it's doubled. The healing over time is increased by 200%, which means it's times 3. So times 2 times 3, but the healing will now fall off beyond 5 targets. So what this means is, in 5-man content, it is massively buffed. It's to the moon. Tranquility is so good now in 5-man content. I'm going to show you that in a minute. In a raid environment, in a 20-man raid environment, it basically is the same as it is now. It's not going to feel any better or any worse. It's going to feel about the same, okay? So massive buff, in my opinion, for Resto Druid, and I think it really enables you to take things like Dream State, to invest 2 talent points into this, to completely change your build and how you play Resto Druid and how you think about Resto Druid. And it has completely changed how I think about Resto Druid, which has me thinking I might want to play Resto Druid as my main. The visual updates for all these spells has been increased, which is great. This is a huge bonus, actually. We don't talk about this enough, but when Blizzard actually puts time and effort into making the game look and sound and feel more fun to play, that's why I play the game, honestly. Obviously, I'm playing because I want to play something that's strong, but I don't play meta picks all the time. You guys know that. I'm playing because I love the way something looks and feels and makes me feel when I'm pressing all those buttons and I'm watching the numbers and I'm watching things explode, when like I'm playing Ellie Shaman and Ascendance goes out. Like that kind of feeling is what I live for when it comes to this game. So I'm really glad that they're buffing this stuff. Those are the Druid changes. I just slapped my desk. Those are the Druid changes. Very, very good buffs coming in. Very happy about all that stuff. Let's move on to what is changing between Season 2 and Season 3. So in Season 2 right now, we have this tier set bonus that basically relies on you having double Life Bloom, because the 4-piece bonus says Life Bloom, the bloom of Life Bloom has a chance to apply insurance. And then when the insurance expires, it's going to add a missing hot that you don't have on your allies. So if you have 2 Life Blooms out at the same time, they're going to be blooming. They're going to be adding insurance. The insurance is going to expire. It's going to add more of your hots. It's a really, really good cycle, right? So I think in that for that reason, you're forced to take Undergrowth in the current season. In Season 3, this tier set bonus is going away, and we're getting the replacement of it is going to be this new one, and I'm going to show you footage right now. Go over to here. So the new one is based, of course, on your hero tree, whether you're playing Keeper of the Grove or Wildstalker. The Wildstalker one, like I said, basically spawns a bunch of extra blooms, and those blooms explode automatically. That's basically what the Wildstalker one does. The Keeper of the Grove one has this Dryad that you summon if you cast Incarn or Tree of Life. Sorry, if you those are the same thing. If you cast Tree of Life or Convoke, you summon a Dryad for about 6 seconds. The Dryad casts Tranquility, and it casts a Nature Swiftness regrowth. Basically, it's a times 3 regrowth on an ally. And then while the Dryad is active, it will gather any healing that you're doing, kind of like a Cloudburst totem. And then the next time you press Swiftness, the next 2 the next time 2 times you press Swift Mend, they will do a ton of extra healing, and they will explode and do AoE healing like a Cloudburst totem would. So you summon your Dryad, it sucks in a bunch of your healing. You cast Swift Mend, it goes boom, and it blows up and does a bunch of extra healing. So very, very cool. What I want to start on here is that you don't need the double Life Bloom talent anymore, because we're not relying on Life Blooms proccing insurance, yada, yada, right? So I think your build really should change and should probably look something like this. I mean, this is just a very early prediction of mine, but I think you're going to want to do something like this. You're going to want to take, in my opinion, 2 charges of Swiftman. I think you want 2 charges of Nature Swiftness, because this is the craziest, best burst cooldown that I've ever seen in my life. And then you're going to want Dream State, because guess what? If you're summoning a Dryad from Convoke and from Tree of Life, which, by the way, can be procced from Reforestation, if you proc Tree of Life from Reforestation, you also get the Dryad that I was talking about. So you want to cool down things like Convoke and all your other cooldowns as well. So you want Dream State. Like, basically, you could run into a pack, you start taking a bunch of damage, you press Convoke, it summons a Dryad. Your Convoke does all of its own healing, which is great. Convoke's only a 1-minute cooldown. You're going to cool down Convoke automatically because of Control of the Dream. you're going to get about 15 seconds off the cooldown of Convoke. So now it's a 45-second cooldown. Then you press Trank, and it gives you 20 more seconds off the cooldown. So now it's down to 25 seconds. And your Dryad has just finished. Everybody's fine. 20 seconds goes by. Another big damage event comes in. You have Convoke back again. You can press it again. So the combo is going to be disgusting, in my opinion. And then the same with Swiftmen. You Swiftmen once, you Swiftmen twice, you press Trank, it gives you both Swiftmen charges back, you Swiftmen again, and you Swiftmen again, and that's 4 Swiftmens, and you've procced Incarn, Tree of Life, and guess what? With Incarn, Tree of Life comes the Dryad. So I really think that you're going to want to take Dream State, and I think you're going to want to take probably 1 minute Convoke, and I think Reforestation are mandatory. I think having 2 charges of Swiftmen is also mandatory, because again, the Dryad buffs your next 2 Swiftmens, and you have a very short window in which to use those Swiftmen. So all that to say that I think the build that I'm looking at right here is probably something that you're going to be looking at. You might not want to take Renewing Surge. You could probably get away with not taking this. Maybe you just go Improve Wild Growth or something. A Scenarium Work could be good too. But I don't think you need Verdancy, because you're not taking double Life Bloom, in my opinion. I think Power of the Arc Druid is the most slept on talent in the world, in my opinion. This synergizes really well with Keeper of the Grove, which is what we're going to be playing. I'm going to be trying it anyway, in my opinion. This is a very, very strong hero tree. The reason it synergizes is because you got Blooming Infusion. Every 5 regrowths makes your next Wrath or Starfire instant cast, and it does more damage. And then that damage converts into healing from Dream of Cenarius. Okay, I've been trying Resto Druid in all my keys lately, and my Dream of Cenarius healing has been disgusting. Okay, this is just for Mythic Plus, right? But what you do is you cast Wild Growth, it procs your Regrowth or your Rejuve, and then you press Regrowth, and it does 3 regrowths instead of 1. Those 3 regrowths add up towards the Blooming Infusion proc, which is 5 regrowths, right? You only have to do 2 more. You do 2 more regrowths, then you get that Blooming Infusion proc, and then your next Wrath goes off. It does double damage. That damage converts into healing from Dream of Cenarius. It's this really, really cool cycle. So I'm gonna stop talking about this now, but I think this talent tree is gonna be really strong with Keeper of the Grove, in my opinion. I think if you're running Wildstalker, you probably want to stick with the double Life Bloom talent and then go. It's all about F-Flow. It's about keeping people inside your F-Flow, because that's where the most number of blooms are going to be proccing. And then you could take Verdancy again, and it would be totally fine. But I think with the Keeper of the Grove build, you probably don't want that, which is great. So let's look at how this actually looks like in Season 3. Those are the talents that I was taking. Let's go to 251. 251. Okay, so opening packs here. The opening pack's actually pretty bad, because I end up dying. I'll show you there's a better thing here. We'll get to it in a second. I think I end up dying like right here. Let me go big here, sorry. Also, I'm on damage and over. I think I died to a double gorge. I get double gorged here, so that's the problem. We get through this pack, this first pack, and then we'll get to the next pack, and I'll switch to healing. There we go. We got healing done there on the bars. So again, for me, people standing in my F-Flow is not as important. Mostly what I'm concerned about is my major cooldowns. Convoke, and then proccing Tree of Life. That is going to get me the most amount of healing. And you can see right here, people are taking lots of damage, but we are surviving. Also, my Swiftmen's. I think I only have 1 charge of Swiftmen in this key, because I was trying to do the talent that where you press Swiftmen and it increases the hots of everybody, which is really, really cool. There's my Convoke there. Really quickly, I'm just going to do it again. I'm going to press Convoke. People are taking damage. And then you're going to see Tranquility is going to pop up on everybody's bars here when I press it. So there it is, Tranquility, and it stacks up to 5 stacks. That's my Dryad. And then the Dryad also presses Regrowth, of course, as I said. And then all the healing that I'm doing right now goes into my next Swiftmend. And my next Swiftmend, you can see it's lit up here. It's going to do big healing, and it's going to splash that healing onto all my allies, which is super, super cool. So that's what you do. Now I proc Tree of Life. Here's my Tree of Life proc, and you can see I have Tranquility on everybody again, because this is the second Dryad that I'm summoning. This is for free because I procced Tree of Life, which is really, really awesome. It's amazing. And really what you want to try and do with this Keeper of the Grove build is to try and min-max the timing with which your Dryad is going to actually enter the field. So that's really what you want to try and do. You want to try and make sure you're convoking at a time when you need the convoke and when you want the Dryad's help. You can see regrowth, regen. Here's my dream of scenarios there. There's my big Swiftmend. Swiftmend hit pretty hard there. And then the Dryad's favor is down there. That's her Swiftmend. And then the Tranquility from the Dryad did 6.4 million. So not even that much. It'll do more later. But the Dryad alone, just the Dryad, ended up doing about 14 million healing there, which is about 10% of my healing. So it'd be above wild growth if you add up what the Dryad did there. Okay. We're going to go to the boss fight here. This is the first boss. Some really good stuff here. Really good stuff to see. So when these circles go out, there's 2 dots that get put on whoever gets the circles, and they do an enormous amount of damage over time. You have to be really, really careful. So I'm going to wild growth here. And then I'm going to, I just covered that with regular hots. I don't even need to do anything crazy there. But what I've really been impressed with, actually the most, one of the things that's impressed me the most has been Resto Druid's ability to respond with burst healing. I've never known Resto Druid to have this kind of response time, but double nature swiftness with like a double Swiftmend has been absolutely incredible in my opinion. And I'm just really enjoying how much healing this does. You can see here, I hit this guy for 16 million. I just hit the priest for a 16 mil. It's right there. 16146 something. 16 million regrowth. That's because I hit nature swiftness and I pressed regrowth and bam, it absolutely slaughtered that guy. So that kind of response, the ability to respond quickly, and well, like with big burst healing, in my opinion, has completely changed my opinion of how Resto Druid can function in a Mythic Plus environment. I think it's amazing. Like, look at that. See how big that healing was there? It's just awesome. I haven't even pressed Convoke yet. I'll press it now. I'm a little late on Convoke. I don't even need to do it yet. But when you do press Convoke, of course, you get that Dryad, which is very, very nice. The Dryad adding Trank to everybody is really good for your mastery as well, right? It incorporates your mastery really well, increasing the amount of healing that your allies receive depending on how many hots are on them at the time. And your Tranquility puts that hot on everybody. So I've just been really, really impressed with how awesome the response is from Resto Druid when it comes to the need to immediately heal people really quickly to get them back up off the ground. I've been really impressed. And the Boomkin weaving has been really fun as well. It's easy to Boomkin weave with Keeper of the Grove. You get automatic synergy there. There's a proc right there. I just procced Tree of Life with my Swiftmen, and you can see the Tranquilities are stacking up. It happened right before the dots went out on the 2 guys here. So the Priest and the Demon Hunter have the dots on them, and you can see that it's covering that damage perfectly. Perfect timing on that. So again, this is what you can do if you're playing Keeper of the Grove. If you know the damage is coming, once you learn the dungeons and the patterns of the damage, or if you're in the raid and you learn the patterns of the damage that's coming in, you can time it perfectly so that your Dryad is coming out at that exact moment and you're able to heal everybody up. There's my Convoke once again. I just Convoked right there. And that summoned my Dryad again, and boom, I'm healing everybody back up. My Convoke is already 37 seconds away from coming back. So if I press it again, of course, I can get another Dryad. If I Tranked right now, I would almost have Convoke back already. If I Tranked right now, which I could do. There's Trank. I'm doing Trank right now. Watch the cooldown of Convoke. 23 seconds, 19, 14, 9, 4 seconds. Convoke is back. And Trank itself did a ton of healing right there because they buffed it by 100% and 200%. So those are the 2 dots that are on everybody. There's Trank healing. Boom, 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 boom. Keeping everybody up. It's insane right now. It's really, really, really good. The cooldown reduction especially, I cannot get over how strong that is. I'm telling you guys, it's really strong. I'm just so impressed with Druid. It's got the whole package in my opinion. The only thing that's lacking a little bit from Druid is the damage. The damage is a little bit low if you're Boomkin weaving, but I don't really care. It's good enough in my opinion. I'm just impressed with the healing. Strong burst healing, sustained hots on everybody for a long period of time. Feels really good. It's just amazing. You have cooldowns that are going to be up all the time. 1 minute Convoke, proccing Tree of Life, proccing this Dryad. It's basically an extra cooldown proccing the Dryad. So like I don't know, I'm just super duper impressed. This is a +12 on the PTR. This is not a slouch of a key. So Very impressed with how Resto Druid is going, especially Keeper of the Grove. I have tried Wildstalker in the dungeons as well. I might do another video just to showcase that, because I really just wanted to talk about Keeper of the Grove in this one. But so I will get to the Wildstalker one. But Keeper of the Grove, if you're thinking of playing Resto Druid, if you've never picked it up before, let me tell you, it can do both things in my opinion. It can do long ramping hots over time with stuff like Flourish, and it can do burst healing. I would say you could do like a Wildstalker build with all the bursting growths that are going off, the blooms that are blooming and then bursting, and then you're ramping into like a big Flourish. Like you could do that right in a raid, or you could do Keeper of the Grove and have big burst healing from a Dryad and do Convoke and I don't know, all this really cool stuff. The options are endless in my opinion. I think it's really, really good. So that's it for Resto Druid. I think that it's looking really good in Season 3. This is potentially going to be my main in Season 3. I am very, very seriously considering playing this just because of how much fun I've had, how cool Dream State is, all this kind of stuff. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you there. I will do another video soon on the Wildstalker tree for Resto Druid, but I'm telling you guys, there's probably never been a better time to learn how to play Resto Druid, to really get into it. It's got everything you could need. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I love y'all. I'll see you in the next one.